talked a little bit about the presence of vendor and the continuous changes as far as the setup is concerned. The security of transactions of your integrated systems becomes perhaps one of your key activities in 2020-2021. And the losses there can be significant, up to 10 million shillings in terms of a total transaction loss. Continuous vendor assessment and monitoring. Obviously, you cannot operate as an island. You need that interaction and connection with the vendors. It's important that you trust but verify of what occurs in that environment. Over 30% of attacks potentially involve vendors. It's impossible to sit here and say that you'll not be a victim of a cybercrime. Therefore, the importance of building resilience and defense in depth in what we refer to as zero trust network and architecture. And then finally, awareness and training for general employees and IT and everyone involved to understand the key aspects about it. Last slide, please. So those are the key aspects that we need to share on the report. Like I mentioned, it is available online from our website. And for those of you who are here, it's possible to get a physical copy of it. Thank you very much.
You know, if we give that report to somebody who talks slowly, or who really is going to read the whole report, we'll have stayed up to tomorrow. But because Joseph understands the report, he is the hands-on person. I am sure part of that report is the one who did the work himself. So can we give him a hearty clap for doing a good job? I know a lot of questions are coming, and as we agreed, we will take those questions online or physical just after our keynote speaker. And ladies and gentlemen, for those who are online, if you can just introduce yourself, I'll give you a shout out as we see here. I've seen Simon, Saitoti, and a few other people there. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to now introduce Dr. Catherine Ngao. For those who don't know, Dr. Catherine Ngao, she's the CEO, SPO. It is a research company that does market research. For those who don't want to hear so much, it's like the famous what? Info? Come on. The research company that is usually very prominent towards election is called what? Yes. Catherine, please, my humble pleasure to welcome you to open up this for us.
Good morning, everyone. Let me first say that I'm a major, would I say a believer? I'm a major believer in SACCOs. And this is because I was educated through the old cooperative movement, which I think is a precursor to the SACCO, where in our days, when coffee was a major crop, our parents, when they didn't have money to pay fees from their other incomes and salaries, they would go to the coffee cooperative and get a letter. A letter that confirmed that your fees will be paid when the coffee is paid. Basically meaning that you have delivered enough coffee to warrant that payment. In those days, there was no that easy loan system that we have now. And we would take that letter to the school and you would get admission. When I grew up and got employed, I first joined the SACCO from day one. And when my son was going to school, and I had also challenges in income balancing, I would go to my SACCO and get the loan. And the fact that the SACCO gives the school fees loan as an emergency loan that takes almost like 2 hours. In my SACCO, it used to take 2 hours to get a loan for school fees. So I'm a believer in the SACCO movement, and I believe that it can make the very greatest difference in moving people's lives forward. So let me go to the opening. Now, the Chief Executive Officer, Serianu, Mr. William Makatiani, the Chief Operating Officer, Serianu, Mr. Joseph Mathenge, who has just spoken, distinguished guests, panelists, and other speakers. Good morning. I am grateful for the invitation to preside over today's SACCO conference and launch of the 2021 Technology Report, which is aptly titled, Reimagining IT Sourcing for the Digital Age, Partnering for Success. I like the word success because we must always look up and never down. I'm excited to join you on this auspicious and momentous occasion. As I've explained to you, I am a total believer in the value of the SACCO movement. I will delve into a number of issues that I believe are central to the current and future success of SACCOs in Kenya. Some have been mentioned by David and the previous speaker, and so maybe we are completely aligned on this. The first issue is youth perceptions and emerging careers. The media has recently cast a light on the dearth of the youth in Kenyan SACCOs, a phenomenon that I'm certain you are all familiar with. And I would almost want to pause and ask these representatives of the media here, are you members of SACCOs? Who is a member of a SACCO? No, from the media team, the young media team. Who is a member of a SACCO there? I can see only one hand. Okay, maybe there are more. Now, in my own personal experience, I've been told by some young people who I was advising to join SACCOs when they started getting income, that they believe that SACCOs are for old people. Now, why is this perception persisting? It's a major indictment on SACCOs and points to an urgent need to rebrand and reposition SACCOs so that they connect with young people's aspirations and what I would call experience journeys, including the theme of today's conference, technology. After all, in this generation, going forward, the only thing they become more dependent on is technology. So as long as SACCOs want to move with them, then they must continue to invest heavily in technology. It also relates to their careers and the fact that many of them are not formally employed in the strict sense of the word. The rise of what is known as the gig economy, where professionals offer their services more as consultants and employees than fixed employees and are not bound by geographical boundaries, speaks to a whole new world of potential SACCO members. SACCOs also need to innovate around guarantee-based lending to reflect the gig economy, where members may not know each other well as a result of remote working and will not be willing to guarantee each other, because of course you also know some of the consequences that people have had, especially in online loans. Now, to be able to appeal to these youth segments, effectively, we need to change our strategies and tactics. Because, as Stephen Covey said, if we keep doing what we are doing, we will keep getting what we are getting. And as you all know, the age structure of the population of Kenya reflects a pyramid where at the top are just a few people. And as you go down, we have 75% of Kenyans below the age of 35. And this is from the last census of 2019. 75% below the age of 35. Now, the question I have for you, can we afford to have strategies that do not factor this group? Maybe one of the statistics that you need to track when you go back, how many members do you have that are below 35? Does your membership age structure reflect the Kenya age structure? And that's really the question about the youth. We need to get more youth to belong to SACCOs because they will ensure continuity. Number two, the second issue I want to talk about is member engagement. Lacked a tactical member engagement plan. And you can ask that maybe too. We can ask to our SACCOs, to ourselves also, all of us as SACCO leaders and the like. Do we have a strategy for member engagement? Do we have a tactical plan for member engagement? Now, lack of engagement was quoted as number one reason why members are dissatisfied or why they left their SACCO to join another SACCO. Meaning they believed in SACCOs, but what is the way forward? What is your strategy for member engagement? First, let us agree that member engagement is not the same as customer service. Many of us will say we have a customer service person or department or something. Customer service is reactive. It responds to the members when they have queries. It resolves member problems. But engagement is proactive. Engagement is proactive. You have to anticipate your member needs and communicate with them through value-added interactions. And lack of member engagement is largely attributed to inability to understand your own SACCO membership. And this calls for systematic research. And members are not homogeneous. First, we must agree they are different. And engagement cannot be represented by a single variable. It requires deeper, more nuanced examination at the various touch points and interactions that go into determining the overall value of a member. Touch points, journeys, those are some of the words you use when you're talking about engagement. What is the customer journey in the SACCO, when getting a SACCO service? What is the journey they go through? What is their experience? What are the touch points in that journey? How do we manage that process? How can we enhance engagement as they go through that journey? So SACCOs will need to get more information on diverse variables from a wide range of transactional, operational, and behavioral data, such as the type of members, number of transactions, the channel usage, length of association, attitudes they hold, even their beliefs, because that's what determines how they engage. There is a Kikuyu saying that applies to this question of member engagement. It translates to something like, a relationship is built by the number of positive interactions. It's about interactions, not transactions. So to a large extent, we do a lot of transactions, but transactions never translate to relationship if the interaction is not well managed. So at the point of transaction, let's think how we are engaging so that we can build a stronger relationship with our members and ensure that they are going to stay with us. The third issue is the question of payments. David talked a lot about payments. In the report, we've had a lot about payments. I actually sit in boards of insurance and banking, and this is a major service. For banking, we think this, when I'm sitting on that side, I have many legs. So when I'm sitting there, I say this is, we are focused on that. But I always advise SACCOs that this is a great opportunity. Yeah, so SACCOs are in a very strong position when it comes to deposit, savings, and loans. But now technology firms, known as fintechs, that David has talked a lot about, are eating into the SACCO turf with easily accessible online loans. SACCOs need to accelerate investment in digital capabilities while being intentional about bridging the gap between digital and non-digital channels. Payments is also about facilitating settlement of bills and purchases, akin to the way banks are doing. With the rise of FOSAs, the next edge will be in payment methods that occur at a single point. And for these young people that we are talking about, they are referred to sometimes as any age, anywhere generation. They want to buy things online at their own time to be delivered to their premises. How will you interact with them? How will you provide services to that generation? You require to have deep understanding of what the consumer is experiencing, what they are doing, whatever it is when they are using your service. They'll be using your service as they travel, as they eat, as they shop, as they in their pajamas, basically. So you cannot have a structure that presumes that it is a sitting arrangement. You know, in the past, when we used to go to banks and even SACCOs, you used to dress up in your Sunday best so that you can present yourself there. Today, we don't even want to go there. We just want the service. And if you can't get from this, you get from the other or the other. So are we the front line? Are we going to be the ones that actually provide all these services that the customer needs? Because if you have FOSA, payments is your business as well. What percentage of payments of your own members are you handling? So responding to this generation may require a major shift in the way we think. And I think I heard David talk about thinking, a shift in thinking. We must change the way we think, including proactively tapping and automating recurring payments for SACCO members. And therefore the need to consider the lifestyle of a member or a proactive member. We need to understand member psychographics, their interests, opinions, and activities. I remember one time when we were given a project to do for a financial institution, actually a bank, that wanted to really get to know where their customers are, how they use services, and how they live. And one of the things they asked us to do is to select a number of customers and track how their average day goes. And that meant that you knew how they live, what was in their house, what they had for breakfast, what they had for lunch, how they moved to entertainment in the evening, and the like. And I might also tell you, even Safaricom one time gave us a project where they asked us to do an unusual study. They asked us to go into the informal settlements of Nairobi, of Kenya generally, and look at the question of how the people live. There was nothing to do with communication, nothing to do with how do the people live, what is their lifestyle. When they wake up in the morning, what do they do? Where do they eat? How much do they pay for what they eat? How do they do their budgeting? When they come to entertainment, how do they get their entertainment? What is their leisure time activities? And with that, they are able to then engage very closely with these customers and provide them services that completely connect with their needs. And because this is always changing, this is something you need to invest some time to look into who is really this person we call our member. Now, the fourth issue is the future of the workplace. The future of the workplace. Remote working is rising, and people are shifting away from cities, while others are opting to work for clients out of the country. These transformations affect SACCO members and SACCO staff as well. How are you shaping up for this eventuality? What culture are you putting in place to accommodate the new generation of workers? One recent study illustrated this point and established that about 2/3 of employees feel that their physical working environment plays a role in enabling them to work productively. Work has traditionally focused on repetitive and individual task-based activities, and these activities tend to enjoy stronger support from today's workplaces. But much of this task-based work is being automated, and with that automation comes a shift to more collaborative, more project-based, and more creative working arrangements. Culture is said to be an important thing for employees, but the culture that many of us have in our circles on paper is not reflected in the actual working environment. And this is an important question. So the question of well-being also deserves more attention these days, as you have all come to realize that we need to be concerned about the well-being of our people, and we need to pay attention to that question, because it's a very important, at the very base of an employee's hierarchy of needs, and is critical to both productivity and job satisfaction. The fifth issue that I want to talk about is about collaboration instead of competition. And I think this has been mentioned by the previous speakers, how we need to collaborate instead of just compete. Now, rising competition, shrinking membership bases, and a strained economy are some of the factors that may lead to lower surplus for SACCOs. And with all the changes taking place, is it time that we considered merging? I know many people don't like to hear the question of merger, but not all mergers are bad. But the other thing to do is to consider other opportunities, as has been presented here before. Are there opportunities for collaboration in a different way? Collaboration in shared services or in shared infrastructure? We must think out of the box and look at these possibilities. There is a need to consider how to cooperate as we compete. We call this co-opetition. Co-opetition is a term that talks about that ability to recognize that you are in competition, of course, but that you are able to collaborate. In the circus world of entertainment, you find that one juggler cannot throw or spin so many plates at the same time before one or more will fall and break. So you have to look at how do we collaborate. That's why they collaborate in that entertainment. So not all mergers are bad for the industry. Let's be open-minded. There are strategic mergers between strong SACCOs that would bring great benefits to members and minimize member attrition, and also ensure growth of the SACCO movement. So let's be strategic about it. And the final issue that I want to talk about is the issue of table banking. We've all been hearing about table banking being talked about throughout this country. Kenyans generally hunger for savings and borrowing, but they want to do this without the formal structures of a bank or a SACCO to a large extent. That is the other Kenyan, not the one in the banks and SACCOs. Is it possible for SACCOs to help communities start banking operations before they graduate into formal, start table banking operations before they graduate them into formal SACCO membership? Because the table banking concept is about also enabling or learning about how to save and put your money together and invest. According to the Kenya Association of Investment Groups, there are about 200,000 Kenyans involved in table banking, and they have saved an estimated 2 billion shillings. So it's something worthy to consider. It may be time for us in SACCOs to truly think out of the box and proactively seek out communities and help them to start out initially, maybe in table banking, as table banking outfits, and work with them progressively and with other partners to eventually mainstream them into the formal SACCO membership. Now, from the ongoing scenarios, I've given 6 scenarios, it is clear that there is a large amount of work for SACCOs to do. Sorry, I came here to put a challenge. I came here to challenge you, to ask you to think out of the box, to be more proactive, to include more youth, to consider more options, and to be open-minded. So, from what we have seen, for you to thrive, there is work to be done. There is more work to be done. And the need to change, I think we need to change before we have to. If we don't change, change might actually force us to change. As we have all discovered, this world is very complicated. In the recent times with the COVID, we did not change in good time, and now it has changed us. I believe that we all want to thrive, not just survive in our circles. And to flourish in this environment, we must be open to change. And we can start by appreciating what Albert Einstein said, that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The 2021 Serianu SACCO Technology Report will provide relevant information to facilitate SACCOs to develop effective strategies and tactics in order to respond to the issues we have highlighted here. And to quote Sun Tzu, strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. And tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. So let's be strategic. Let me say that in any challenging moment, we have 2 options. One is to step forward so that we can grow, and the second is to step back into the safety of the familiar. The question I have for you, which one will you do? After being presented with all this information about cybersecurity, about investment in technology, about the challenges, the opportunities, what will you do? I can only encourage you not to be afraid to give up the good, to go for the great. Because, as Peter Drucker said, if you want something new, you have to stop doing something old. If you want something new, you have to stop doing something old. With those few remarks, I now declare the conference officially opened and the 2021 Serianu Technology Report launched. I wish you fruitful deliberations and a great day ahead. Thank you very much and all the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guest speaker, our guest speaker has opened up. Why don't we give a clap that is worth her speech? The challenge that she has given us as SACCOs are immense. Table banking, you know, that is a simple or an exotic terminology for chama. We still have people, even ourselves, doing chama things, the merry-go-round. Thank you, Madam Daktari, and we appreciate the challenge in the SACCO sector. With the players like Seriano, we promise to take up that challenge. And now I want us to take special photo about the launch, where the CEO, Seriano, the COO, can stand here, plus our guest of honor. Why don't we clap for them? have to be compliant. For our own good. All right, and there it is. Thank you guys, thank you, and congratulations. Now, if we can have the key speakers, anybody in the panel as a key speaker, please come forward so that we can join. I think this is where I will also join. Sami, on behalf of my colleagues in SACCOs, you know, we have a very, very vibrant group called SITPA, IT Professional Associations. Sami, please. You have the report? And make sure there is a lot of online requests that we have that report in soft for them. I can see a lot of viewers, Geoffrey of Chai SACCO, Akuku of Safaricom Investment. There is Ndomo from CDC SACCO, quite a big number that is following these procedures. Asante sana, we will meet these panelists that you are seeing all here in due time. Thank you very much, team. God bless you abundantly.